believe I made this intro. Daimon Agatus Daimon. That is ancient Hellenic for here's luck. A greeting I read about in some magazine for the Church of Satan. The voice I'm doing here, the abrupt staccato one, is probably inspired by Diamanda Galas. We listened a lot to one of the 1986 albums that she did in these times. The whole intro was probably the way I felt at the time. I had to make something. Here we go. Go, go, go! Sounds exactly like our wonky cassette version of Vader's Necrolus demo that Ted got from some trader down from Poland in probably 1989 or 90. I don't think Vader did the bass drum rolling that I used to do way back here. And that's the mid-tempo. It always works like a charm after some twice as fast rhythms. Go! We never rehearsed with vocals, and I had no idea what kind of vocals that this album would end up having when we recorded the whole shebang in the same studio that Mayhem did Death Crush, by the way. It was a very expensive but still very local studio to both us and Mayhem. It is like 5 minutes away from where I grew up on the bicycle, so I was just there the other day, just playing football, not being in the studio, of course. I don't know what they use the studio for now. Anyway, I didn't know what the vocals were supposed to sound like, and when we recorded the album, I guess I just well, my parts were done. I did the intro, I did the drums, and then I just drank myself into oblivion, and Ted wanted to be alone with the vocals, and then I woke up probably in some side room of the studio on the couch, and the vocals were done, and I was like, okay. Good one, Ted. Celtic Frost riffs right here. A lot of Celtic Frost in this song. It's no Bathory until like the last riff or something. Best drum sound we ever had. Erik Amskog. He also did the drum sound for Death Crush by Mayhem. They recorded like in December 86 or like early 87 or something, and this was in the summer of 91. We finally had the money to go there. Never had a better drum sound than this. Guitars were played like through a tiny amplifier, but with a effect board that was the size of Texas. Lots of reverb here, both on drums and guitars. And it was like a question if Dag should play on this album or not, but he rehearsed the songs and he wanted to do it. And he brought his whole mega amplifier with his dad drove in. It's in the car. But then when he came to the studio, I think we made him play on a bass with buzz on a little PB or something. The album needed it, but you know, he wasn't too excited about it. That was the last thing Dag did for Darkthrone, but we thank you, man. That was just part we just listened to there had bona fide D beat. The first time I actually heard D beat was Celtic Frost. That's a, you know, like a, for those who only into metal, that's a punk beat. You know? And Celtic Frost had a lot of that D beat. Oh yeah, that was definitely a Bathory riff. Or is it? I don't fucking know where this riff came from. I wrote the entire fucking song, but don't know where the inspiration for this riff came. Probably Bathory, I don't know. And Celtic Frost again. Ooh! Longest song I ever wrote, except for the one I just made for the Underground Resistance album, which turned out to be a little bit boring, so needed to fade that one. This one I didn't have to fade. This one worked perfectly. Clever written with these mark which are rhythmically incorrect on purpose, but again inspired by Celtic Frost. Celtic Tom G probably was the mastermind of doing that at one point. All right. Ooh. What a snare drum sound, fantastic. I didn't strip my drum kit down for this album. That was on Under Fear and Moon. I just had like one snare and one tom. I definitely had a couple of toms on this one. I guess we recorded the album in like 4 days and then did a couple of days some mixing, something. That was all we could afford. Probably cost like 25,000 kroner, 2,500 English sterling pounds. We didn't have that kind of money for Soulside Journey. We only had like £1,000 budget for that, so we had to go to the Sunlight Studios, where I wasn't even allowed to bring my own bass drums. Hence the D-drum, soulless drum sound on that one. But this is the real McCoy, and this is the might of Bathory you can hear right now. World Without End, tribute to King Diamond, or of course Merciful Fate. But I guess you all knew that. And on Soulside Journey we had Lucifer Master, which was a tribute to Possessed. Always the 80s for us, man. There was the bass drum rolls again. It rolls into the snare. Don't know who first did that. I don't know where I got that from. I did it a lot back here in '91. Alright, Kathaarian Live Code, that was it. Waspy guitar sound, lots of reverb. And this is Zephyrous. I made this. And the cowbell. To make the cowbell sound extra special like Celtic Frost, like really dry and without like clunk 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 like Motley Crue would have done, I stuffed lots of toilet paper inside the cowbell and just like put tape over it so it'd be a really dry cowbell. I wish I still had that cowbell. Now I'd fucking use it. Come on! Instead of playing do 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 do, Zephyrous will go do 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 do. Just harve on the strings. Nocturno, Culto away. I tell you, really fired up. I mean, introducing the vocalist like that, man. That was Ted's solo. I think I'm doing the next solo actually. Or solo, I mean it's not like Yngwie Malmsteen quality, but I just wanted some nasty stuff. The drums. I don't do that shit anymore, that's too fancy. Fancy pants. And there's more Celtic Frost. I was Celtic Frost, the refrain and the verse here is Celtic Frost. You can hear it in the rhythms, really Celtic Frost. If I'd sung this, it would be totally Tom G. Warrior style. Probably best that Ted sung this. Sounds a little bit more like us. This song changes rather extremely, I'd say, from after this refrain right here. It's a clear, defined first and second part of the song. And I think I wrote the second part of the song. But we come to that now. Here comes the first time we do like a Motorhead style thing. And the D beat again. Filthy Animal Taylor, old drummer for Motorhead, used to do this drum style a lot. And here comes like a part we did for the Goat Lord album, but we integrated or implemented this part into this song. No, that can't be right. It's gotta be like the last part or something. I don't know where this riff came from. Perhaps it was on Goat Lord, perhaps they made it for this song. Can't fucking remember. Oh. I was... I could hear on the drumming there, I was happy to return to this riff. Got a little bit tired playing the fast stuff. I was never really comfortable playing on that fast stuff. I like this beat. I still play this beat now, these days, a lot. My favorite beat. Later on, like half of all black metal would have this tempo right here. Fucking boring. Also cloning. But again, that tells us that there was really something about this groove, if you can call it, that we're in right now. A friend of mine, the professor, said he listened to the commentary tracks on Total Death album. Every time I said I didn't like a riff, that was the ones he liked. This is a part that's from the Goat Lord sessions. It sounds really great here with the acoustic guitar. We did some acoustic guitar again on our new album, but since we did it here with the acoustic guitar, we hadn't done it since... Actually, we'd never done that before. We did that on the new album, Underground Resistance. We did some clear acoustic on the Falcandra demo and the Snowfall song. We should do more of that, I like it. Yeah, those two tracks we just listened to were black metal tracks. We made 3 of those for this album, and what you're listening to now is probably like, it was 3 of the songs we already had riffs from the Goat Lord sessions, and we just, I guess, played it in a more black metal style right here. People thought that all of these songs were black metal and started playing like this death metal style of black metal, and we're the ones to blame for that. I'm fucking sorry. I think if people listen more to like Sarcophago, the first Samuel album, NME for crying out loud, and black metal would have been better in the 90s, except instead that people started copying this stuff a lot, and you know, the fast stuff. It's our fault. We dressed it up as black metal. People swallowed it and got influenced by it. Like this part right here is fucking death metal, man. Something like Dr. Shrinker could have made. I'm trying to destroy the riff with the double bass drums here. Actually, I was angry at the riff. I didn't like it. It wasn't Vust. It wasn't black metal. Well, we had so little time. We had already booked the studio time for doing the Goat Lord album, and we just thought, fuck it, let's go follow our hearts and play total black metal. And then we didn't even have time, man. That's why we had to include this stuff. To us, this is a bona fide death metal riff. People just thought it was black metal. Another death metal riff. Awful. Doesn't work at all. Nah, 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 nah. Still death metal riff, but this really works better here. underneath. And those little add-ons or cameos, I did all of those. Fancy drums. Who am I, like Neil Peart or something here? That's the Rush drummer, for those of you who don't know. I love the solo sound he's got going here. The guitar sounds great. Here actually comes the good part. I never listened to this song, but I can remember this part comes now. Fucking good. Come on! Kinda majestic or something. Good songwriting with the silenced bars there. Here we go again. Yeah, I can dig that. This song would be good if it was just this riff and that Dr. Shrinker riff I told you about earlier. Alright, that's the end of side 1, side A on the vinyl. And then we start side B with the third, like pure black metal track, Where Cold Winds Blow. Where warm winds blow today, actually. Going swimming in the lake, but Ronnie from Belial said like, nah, don't feel like it. And now I'm doing this instead. Yeah, and this is probably the most 90s. I mean, the influences from here came from Bathory from the 80s and what Mayhem were doing in 89, 90. We had like the cassette version of Live in Leipzig we listened to. You can hear this influenced us, but we didn't figure Mayhem had anything to do with 90s or anything like that. I mean, this was 91. Everything we listened to were from the 80s or like from 1990, which would be like Monsters Hammer or Psalmine. Nothing else released in 90. But Live in Leipzig by Mayhem was recorded then. You can hear we were influenced by definitely Mayhem influence here. Yeah, that's a type of riff that was really fresh, like here in 91, and that got overplayed already like in 93 by so many bands, and in 97 everyone was doing it, and there's hordes of bands still doing this sound. If they do the Celtic Frost sound, I'd be more pleased with that, because this got overplayed so fast, and I think I still tried to do some riff like this on the Panzerfaust album, but it was so over for me, man. I ain't feeling it. You can hear it on the commentary tracks for Panzerfaust 2 that I was so over this sound, but I'll never be over the Celtic Frost stuff. So Of course, I worship the Mayhem and the Bathory, stuff like this, but didn't work for me to do it myself. It was the Celtic Frost stuff that always worked. Also from the get-go, I was inspired by Celtic Frost and Cryptic Slaughter. My first band were inspired by those, and also like the first Slayer album, and lots of other shit. Bathory. Yeah, even though we tried to make like this is like third black metal installation for this album, which should have just been an EP with Where Cold Winds Blow, In the Shadow of the Horns, and Kathaarian Life Code. The songs I always end up playing from this album when I want to listen, it's Kathaarian Life Code and In the Shadow of the Horns. Definitely two of our best tracks ever. The rest of the album here, I don't give a rat's ass about. Well, I give a rat's ass, but you know, I don't really listen. Not anymore. So this part right here doesn't work for me. Don't know if it was allowed to drink in the studio. I think it was just a little hill outside the studio. I mean, the studio is in the basement of like not a mall, but you know, a complex where you could there's different shops and shit. You could go buy beer. I'd buy plenty of beers. They get out to smoke some. And also drink. It was pretty much a wasted session, but when we recorded stuff, we weren't that wasted. I guess we weren't wasted at all. I can listen to my drumming here, and I definitely did this like as sober as could be. It was a Protestant way of doing it. First do a decent job, then get wasted. Or hedonistic, as someone else would say. Maybe a lot of folks hail this song. I just think it's a mess, man. I'm starting to think some of the death metal numbers on this album is better than this one. The sound is genius. The amp that was used for these guitars, it was so small it could fit in the glove compartment of a car. That huge effect board, man, did wonders. Surprised no one else or people don't use that. Heck, if I could get this sound again, I'd do another album like this. Just do the Kathaarian Life Code style. Yeah, because it's a Kathaarian Life Code style that's like so 80s, and it just works for me. Alright, what song is this one? Huh. Oh, A Blaze in the Northern Sky. Yeah, that's another small guest appearance by myself. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. Isn't this like directly one of the songs from Goat Lord? I can hear we rehearse this a lot of times. Because this is, we're fired up and eager to play it. This is well rehearsed. But we're blacking it up definitely here. Boom, boom, boom. More Bathory. Another riff that's not 4/4 beat. When I do riffs, I always make them 4/4. No, more fancy pants drumming. Hey, that's the cowbell again. We need more cowbell! Yeah, this part works. This is good. And these songs that are like from the Goat Lord sessions, we all chipped in and made those songs. I don't remember who made what riff. Nocturno Culto made, Dag made a lot of it. Zephyrous a little bit, I guess. And I made some. More Fenriz vocals. God damn it. Well, I am dramatic, I'll give me that. Yeah, if this is not a battle between black metal or death metal, I'd say this song works better than Where Cold Winds Blow. Just in the means of general songwriting or flow or whatever. Progressive metal. Did a lot of progressive with our death metal. We called, as some of you know, technical hard death metal. And you could hear that there. Okay, final fucking track. See, this riff is supposed to be like a doom metal beat, but I played it like this because I thought that was more black metal. I should have just played it like with a doom metal beat. Would have worked way better. A lot of people won't agree because they're used to this, but you know, I know what works. I can have whatever opinion I want with my own fucking music. I can hear the way I portion out my words, so I'm starting to get inspired by Dylan Hughes' radio show, Maniac Monday. Alright, Dylan.
The wind of the 666 black hearts has been achieved.
Okay, drama queen. Alright, more Bathory vibes right here. Well, a lot of people liked this album when it came out because, you know, looking at the cover, no one did album covers like that in 91. Everything was like painted or airbrushed. What do you know? I don't know. And we just had like one member of the band, black and white photo with corpse paint on the cover. Just reminded everyone about 80s, and this was also, you know, as I told you a million times, inspired purely by the 80s. And there's a lot of Celtic Frost and Bathory in it. But the fusing of those two bands, like combining it, that wasn't out on album until this one. So I guess that was fresh for a lot of people and they liked it. Probably still do, for all I care. And I mean, when I started doing a lot of interviews again in 98, a lot of people would ask me from time to time, what's your favorite song, man? But again, as you can hear me doing comments on these tracks, there are some parts that I say really works, other parts don't work. And you're completely blind while doing the songs, you think everything works, and then you get into hindsight, like many years later, you see what works and what don't. So I'd always answer like, nah, I ain't got many fave songs, I got fave parts. Then he asked like fave albums. No, I ain't even got fave songs, I got fave parts. This is the riff I hate most on this album. I'm trying to destroy it by my drumming. Again with the double bass drums, trying to crush the riff, but it's not even a good death metal riff. I think it's you, Nilsen, that made it. Didn't really work for us. But you made many other great riffs, man. Just heard playing mistakes on the guitars. Again with his fucking riff. Someone poured this riff on my cereal, I just had to throw it in the waste bin there. Should I like rate the songs for this album? I think this doesn't work. For me, I think Pagan Winter and Where Cold Winds Blow are actually the ones that works least for me. Then Paragon Belial and The Blazing Northern Sky probably on shared second place, and Kathaarian Life Code and then The Shadow of the Horns definitely shared first place. Celtic Frost Deluxe riff. Maybe this song was like directly from the Goat Lord sessions, I don't know, but even on the Goat Lord sessions we included Celtic Frost, and there's like one riff on Soulside Journey that was inspired by Celtic Frost. There's almost no Darkthrone albums without Celtic Frost riffs or influences. I mean, when I say Celtic Frost riff, we don't fucking steal them, it's just the vibe, man. It's inspired by that. Thank you, that's a wrap. Oh yeah, it's a fucking outro again. Well, thanks to you for listening. I hope you had a ball. As many balls as AC/DC. Alright, this was Fenriz doing commentary tracks for a Blaze and Northern Sky album, recorded summer of '91. Songs were done in, like, from the end of 1990 till, yeah, well, May, perhaps even June '91. The album didn't come out until way later. Always have a problem when I check for release years. I want to know when albums are recorded, not necessarily released. The recording date should be the true date for dating an album. Speed dating an album. Bye now.